Hello, and today I will be teaching 2-look OLL. This tutorial can be for someone who doesn't know how to solve the last layer, or it can be useful for people who want to upgrade from the beginner's last layer method. Either way, you'll have to know basic notation. What does 2-look OLL mean? Well, it means that you will solve OLL, orientation of the last layer, or the last face here. In 2 looks, meaning you will have to recognize and solve 2 cases each time you solve OLL. This greatly reduces the number of algorithms you have to learn from 57 to only 9 algorithms. Here we have to solve OLL, and the first algorithm orients the edges, and the second solves the corners. We'll start off by solving the edges. This step is fairly simple and only requires 2 algorithms. First, check to see that your cube has an even number of yellow edges oriented facing up. If it has an odd number, then your cube is unsolvable. To fix this, you'll need to take out an edge and flip it. Back to the tutorial. In this step, we will ignore the corners and only look at the edges. If all your edges are already oriented, then you have skipped this step. If there are 2 oriented edges and the oriented edges are across from each other, then you got the line case, like this. To solve this case, you will need to position the solved edges on the left and right sides of the cube, like this, and execute this algorithm. To memorize this algorithm, just remember to rotate the front face clockwise, perform the sexy move, which you should have already learned from solving the first 2 layers, and then restore the front face. If the edges are adjacent, then you got the L case, like this. To solve this case, you will need to position the solved edges on the front and right sides of your cube and execute this algorithm. This algorithm is very similar to the previous one. The only difference is instead of doing a regular F move, you will be doing a wide F move, so 2 layers. And then we do the sexy move and restore the F face with a wide F move. If none of the edges are oriented, then we can do both of the algorithms, so like this. And that will solve the edges. After orienting the edges, we are going to orient the corners. There will be 7 cases, and here I will teach all of them. For this case where one corner is already oriented, we put it on the front left and then check if the yellow is on the front. If it is, then you got this case, which is called soon, and to solve it, we execute this algorithm. To memorize the soon algorithm, we imagine taking this pair, edge and corner of the first 2 layers, out, moving it to the back, and then inserting it from there by doing this. Anti-soon. This is another case where we have one corner oriented. However, this time when we put the corner on the front left, the yellow is facing the side and not the front. For this case, we put the oriented corner to the back right and execute this algorithm. This case is one of the 2 cases in which all of the corners are unoriented. There are 2 pairs of headlights, and headlights are just 2 adjacent corners with the same color on them, and 1 on each side. And to solve this case, we put the headlights on the front and the back and execute this algorithm. To memorize this algorithm, we imagine we're doing a anti-soon. So we start off the same way as an anti-soon, but when we get here, we don't insert the pair yet. We do the sexy move, and then we insert the pair, and then OLL is solved. This is the other case where all the corners are unoriented, but this time there's only 1 pair of headlights, and the other yellow stickers are facing outwards. So to solve this case, we put the headlights on the left side and execute this algorithm. To memorize this algorithm, we imagine taking this pair and then putting it in the back, taking the back pair out and like that, and then insert this pair and then insert this pair. For the next two algorithms, it might be useful to memorize a different trigger or a very short algorithm called the sledgehammer. So this is how you do a sledgehammer. So for this case where two of the corners are oriented and they're adjacent and the other two aren't and they're facing out, we will do this algorithm. To memorize this algorithm, we can imagine doing a sexy move and then a sledgehammer. But instead we do an M move first and then start the sexy move. But we can do those two moves together. So we do them together, continue the sexy move, and then bring the M move back down, and then do the sledgehammer. But we can also cancel that. So we finish the sledgehammer like that. For this next case, two corners are oriented, but they're diagonal of each other. And to solve this case, we put the two corners that are facing the sides to the left and the front and do this algorithm. The algorithm is the same as the previous one, except we moved the F move from the back to the front. So we do the F move and then we do the previous algorithm. And then we don't have to do the last F move because it got moved to the front. For the last case, the two oriented corners are adjacent of each other and there are a pair of headlights at the front. So we put the headlights at the front and execute this algorithm. For this algorithm, there isn't really a good way to memorize it, so you just have to get it into your muscle memory. And now you can solve any OLL using 2-look OLL.